All right, welcome back to another episode of Men and Marriage. My name is Lamar Dixon. This episode, I have a good friend, Mr. Kimeo Smith. He is a 9-year veteran in the marriage game and also an entrepreneur. He works with the Farmers Insurance Group. Thank you for joining us, brother Kimeo.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So, before we jump into the questions, I know I gave you a quick rundown, a quick high level introduction. Is there anything else that you would like to mention about your marriage or anything like that before we jump into these questions?
Well, I'm one of those, I say this, marriage is fun when you marry the right one. So I'll tell anybody, take your time and be choosy. Because coming from a man perspective, for me to give you my last name means the world to me. And for you
Absolutely.
to accept my last name means the world to me. Um, and I plan on only doing it one time and one time only. I do not want to get married again at this point in my life because I am fully committed to my wife. And that's not trying to get cookie points, but that's just real. That's why I took my time.
That's real talk right there. And I appreciate that insight there. So, like always, this is the second season. Like always, we have 3 questions that I ask every single guest. And the 3 questions will be exactly the same, and we'll run through those 3 questions. After those are discussed, we'll have time enough for open dialogue. So he's having a sidebar conversation.
I apologize. I was trying to keep everything down.
No, no problem. I understand. I had to do the same thing. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the first question. The first question is, in your opinion, what is a man's role in marriage?
um, my opinion is this: a man's role is, I call it the 3 P's. My job is to pray, provide, and protect. Long as you know who my God is, I will provide for you by any means necessary, and I will protect my wife, my kids. That means that I will die for them, period. That's how much I put marriage on that level. So long as I pray, provide, and protect, everything else I'm going to do anyways. But if I'm giving my wife, my queen, those 3 things, I believe she really shouldn't have anything to worry about, because not saying you're supposed to follow me. I think that's an old mindset. You know, the woman follows a man. I want somebody that's on my side. Like, we gonna ride out together.
Right.
That's just how I look at it. She is not beneath me. She is not behind me. That is, men come from women. I don't understand why men be like, you got to follow me, but we actually came from a woman. So until a man comes from a man, I don't, I don't get that. So I just believe you got to know who my God is. I got to be very clear about who I'm praying to. I don't care what religion you are, but just be clear about it. Don't be iffy about religion. But we're Christians, and I look at it where you know that I'm praying to the right God in our house. Um, I'm not putting my hands on you. I'm not calling you out your name. I am providing by any means necessary to make sure I take care of you. So I kind of take those things away, those arguments where, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. No, I'm doing it, but you don't have to ask me to do it. That's my version of being a man. So I will take care of you, and then the kids are also going to know that you come first. You know, that's some people get. Before I got married, one of my good friends, he told me, he said, because his first marriage didn't work out. He said, I asked him, I said, why didn't it work out? He said, she forgot to be my wife. She's a heck of a mother, but she forgot to be my wife. And before I got married, I prayed about that. I said, no, I gotta, she has to be my wife. She has to be my girlfriend. She got to be all that. And I have to be all that to her as well. So I want you to be a heck of a mother, but you also can't forget, how did you become a mother? It was a cold night one night and I kept you warm. So it's
Right.
just like, we can't forget that. And that's why date nights are very, very, very important in marriages. Um, we make it important that once a month or maybe twice a month, we have our time and we kick these kids to the curb, because that is all I got. And I think my wife is fine as all get out. to me, and that's all that matters. Other men think she fine too, and I find that as a plus. But it's just I just make sure that my wife knows she has a boyfriend and a husband. Her husband pays her bills. Her boyfriend be trying to get on. And that's just to keep it spicy, because you can't get settled. And I think I've been a man my whole life, but I don't think that, I ask women, I say, well, why didn't it work out? Well, he got too comfortable. I'll never want my wife thinking I ain't trying to impress her. I'm always trying to impress her because I care less about what the world is saying. Long as I'm good with her, I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's real talk. And I definitely appreciate your candid and openness. Pray, protect, provide. I love those. I mean, I got those swapped up around, but
No, that's fine.
yeah, I like that. I also agree with you 100% about, that your wife comes before your kids. I am exactly the same way. And I've let it be known to my wife as well. That's the order in my eye as it should be. God, me, you, everybody else. So if we get out of whack, what I'm saying, something like that, then I just have to, we have to be reminded that, hey, this is the order that we agreed to, or I'm saying, this is the expectations that, I'm saying, that I set and you agreed to, and you set expectations, and this is what I agreed to as well. So I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. Man come from women. Yeah, 100%. Can't come from nowhere else.
No, just being honest.
Yeah.
Like my kids, they hate it, but they had to fall in line. Like they're trying to overtalk us. I ignore them. When my wife and I are talking, we're talking. It's not just two grown folks talking. I'm talking to your mother. You don't matter right now. And eventually they started falling lines like mom, dad talking. It's called shut up. Until they done and they acknowledge us, we don't get in between that because we are a united front.
Absolutely. That's the way it should be. Yeah. I like that. I also like the fact that you mentioned that, what I'm saying, you are the husband and the boyfriend, to where the husband pays the bills and makes sure she doesn't have to worry about nothing, but the boyfriend is taking care of everything else.
Yeah, he's trying to get on.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's funny. I asked for a number. The boyfriend asked for a number. She's like, I'm married. I'm like, I don't care. Tell him I said it. It's just, that's just what we do. Like, I tell her all the time how gorgeous she is. I tell her how smart she is. And I bounce ideas off her because you're supposed to be my soundboard. And you're going to be brutally honest with me. I don't have to run game on my wife because I already got you. So I don't have to do that no more. So I could be just as corny, just as funny, I could cry. I can do all that with my partner. There's no more, the games was in my 20s and teenagers. And even when I was the game, had the game ran on me. So when I got married, it was, I'm done. I ain't missing nothing. I've been there, done that. And then, some women, they want to see how married are you? And I'm like, I know you. I've seen you in a different form. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I love being home. I like being at the house. There's nothing, this ain't going to work. It ain't going to be because of me, because I worship the ground my wife walks on. And this, like I say, it's not good cookie points, but I truly, because I don't know if I could say, but I was a man of the streets back in the day. That's not bragging, but I was out there kicking it. But when it was time to sit down, it's time to sit down. You can't be the old man in the club trying to be somebody's sugar daddy now. Go home.
Yeah. Now, there's a difference between being in the club with your boys just for a night or two, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once every other month or so, something like that.
Right.
Go out and just kick it and hang out, but not to be in the club specifically looking for something.
I don't have no game, bro. I don't know what I'll say to these girls. Like, I'm going home.
Yeah. My wife's birthday is actually tomorrow. You talking about it? Still trying to impress?
Yeah,
bro. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
And that's dope because she's worth it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. There's nothing that she can ask me for that I would not give her. And more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely appreciate that. That's the first question. You nailed it right off the top of the head. There was no wrong answer, but I love the way that you framed everything and how you put everything into context. That you set expectations up front. These are my roles: pray, provide, protect. Everything else falls in line because you should not be able to want or need for anything because that's my job.
True.
Love it. I love it. And then, what I'm saying, the kids come into play, thereafter, because we're a united front, everything else falls in line.
Yep.
Love
And
it.
and just to let you know, like I'm one of those where when we get married, it's one of those where, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna be honest, it's once we say I do, like we even took do you promise out of our vows. We said, I asked the pastor, I said, can you say, do I give my word? Because I believe God is the word. So I didn't want to promise her anything because in my childhood, promises were broken to me. So it was big to me. If I give you my word, even if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it because I gave you my word. Like I cannot bend on my word. So we gave each other our word. We didn't promise at our wedding. We took that out. So, but it was one of those when we gave each other our word, it literally means to me, forget your side, forget my side. If they don't like what we got going on, they don't have to be around. We are all that matters from here on out. Period. And if they bring drama, they can't be here. Period. And then I also, my wife, she had to learn, and I think at first she thought I was trying to play her, but she knows it now. I love 95% of my wife. I don't love 100% of her. She's not a perfect person. Nobody is perfect. And a lot of people, it gives people grace because nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. But on those days when I'm like, I think about that 95, that's a strong number. But 5%, I can't stand. But that's just being honest and that's being upfront. So then it keeps a lot of the little things out of our household. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I love when guys, I love 100%. And I'm like, really? Do you?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a lie because there's going to be those days that something's going to pop up and you be like, man, I don't like that she did X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Yeah.
But she understands it now. Why I was saying that.
There was a quote that I liked the last episode that I had that was given to somebody by an elder, I would say. Like I think it was their father-in-law. And what they said to me, the last person was be loyal to the decision. And I love that. And the reason why I bring that in is because how you just framed your framework for your household is basically the same thing of what the other gentleman was saying from the last episode was you were being loyal to the decision. You made a decision to be with this woman and you're being loyal to that decision.
I like that.
And that's your word. Basically what you said, that's I'm giving you my word. I stand by my word because that's all that I have as a man is my word. So
I like that.
I like how it kind of tied back into what I just talked about in the last episode. Yeah. So going on to question number 2. And this is and I can frame it a little bit after I get done reading the question. So do you believe a man's ego has to be stroked from time to time? And what I mean by ego is we all like, as men, we all like certain things, and our women can definitely, lift us up or tear us down.
True.
That ego, whenever she's saying something, whatever it is that you like, needs to be stroked from time to time. Is the question. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
It does, because I 100% agree that yes, we do. Because men are nothing but grown boys. We are grown boys. Men are all born with pride. If we're being honest, and when you have a good man and we work really hard and you see that we're doing this, doing that, just to make sure you smile. All we need is a simple thank you. And that means the world to us. Just a simple thank you. And when we have a plan and you see we're on a mission, and for you to give us those, when people running a marathon and then every now and then they have somebody out there cheering them on, my finish line, my God, I'm out here, I'm out here being foolish. I'm on a mission. Just to hear that every now and then just to know you my helpmate, like you going along with me and you bought into the plan. I need to hear that because I don't really care what everybody else got to say. I go to sleep with you every night. I make sure that you eat every night. I make sure that when you hit that light switch, you got electric. Like, you're everything to me. I didn't take the vows with the world. I took the vows with you and God, of course. I took the vows with you. So I need to hear that from you, that you that you acknowledge what I'm doing. But on the flip side, we also have to do the same thing for them as well.
That's right. That's right.
In our household, it's crazy because I don't cook. I don't know how to cook. My mother didn't teach me how to cook. I made it through college through Hot Pockets and salt and vinegars. I was a broke college student. But it's funny how God works because my wife, she cooks, but I wash dishes. And it's a way to show the kids that we acknowledge and we help each other.
Mhm.
So I don't even let the kids eat until they tell their mother, thank you, because she didn't have to cook.
Right.
And there's no slaves going on around here. We all take care of each other. So she brings the food to the table. And then when I get done eating, I take everybody's plate back to the kitchen so they can see that dad is serving mom and mom is serving dad. And then y'all have to say thank you because y'all didn't buy this food. And y'all gonna say thank you to the queen of this household, period. And then they understand now it's like a routine. We've been doing it for years now. It's a routine, but it's a way to say thank you, thank you. I don't ever want you to feel like I'm taking advantage of you. Right. I want to make sure I acknowledge your greatness and these things. And it's important because she needs to hear it just as much as we do. But to answer your question, men and our pride, we gotta hear it. Because if you don't say it, wife, queen, Susie down the street is, because she paying attention to how good you got it. Right. And she trying to find a way to slither in. And if men wasn't out in them streets back in their day, they may fall for the hype. Because some men, I believe some men will cheat because they didn't do their thing when they were younger, so they don't recognize game. That's what I said before. Some women want to know, how married are you? But if you hearing everything that your wife is not saying, first of all, why are you even talking to her? You should just be talking to your wife. But you're talking to her because you didn't know, based on your past experience, that you should shut that down, because all she's trying to do is, of course, she don't say everything that your wife ain't saying. But your wife is keeping it 100 with you. So wife has to keep in mind, we work just as hard as you do, but men are prideful. And we got to hear it every now and then. Not saying you got to stroke it all the time. That's just, you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. But every now and then, just acknowledge, like, yo, I see what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for holding us down. In our house, I share this. My wife doesn't pay any bills. She ain't paid a bill in 10 years. That's our setup. Everybody wants their house so different. But just because she doesn't, that doesn't mean that what she does isn't as important. She makes sure we have food. She buys all the other things, toilet tissue. It's just important. I can't wipe my butt with money. So she makes sure that we had toothpaste. She does all the things. It's just as important. It may not be as much, but it's just as important. So that's our setup. I made sure that her bills are paid. She makes sure that she plugs in all the holes for everything else. So it's a balance, and that's a appreciation. And you got to know each other love language. I mean, knowing each other love language. My wife love language is service, without her having to ask. My love language is, I want to buy you a bunch of expensive stuff because that's how I show you how much I love you. I just want to buy you. My wife don't care nothing about no Chanel, no Louis, none of that. That's me and my shallow behind. I buy her that stuff, but she doesn't care. But she lets me do it because that's my love language for her, to buy her fancy thing. When you're in tune with that and you let them be them, man, that makes this thing so awesome. You just gotta love that person for who they are and accept them, good or bad. But you have to make that decision, like what you said. Be loyal to the decision. I like that. I like that a lot.
Hey, that's why I brought it back up, because I loved it so much.
I like that.
Yeah. And it fits everything that you're talking about. I mean, in any situation, whether it be marriage or losing weight or, you know what I'm saying, working out, whatever it is, long as you're loyal to that particular decision, whatever it is, you always have a frame of reference, because you made that decision. Nobody else did. You made that decision. So therefore, if anything goes sour, you have nobody to blame but you.
That's real, because I have two words that's not in my vocabulary: regret, and I don't say I'm sorry. Reason why I don't regret anything I've ever done is, as a man, I made a decision, and that's the decision I made. Now, either it worked or didn't work, I learned and I move on. I don't regret anything. That may be the man pride, me being a Leo, I don't know. But I do not regret things I've decided to do. And sorry, I don't say I'm sorry because I'm big on language. I'm not a sorry person. I apologize. But for me to say I'm sorry, I ain't saying it. It may be crazy to some people, but I'm not going to say I'm sorry because mentally I can't tell myself that I'm sorry to you or anybody, but I can't apologize to you and be sincere about it. But I don't even let our kids say, they were like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, you're not a sorry person, but you can't apologize for what you did and which was wrong. You get what I'm saying? It's the whole mental thing. The English language has
Yeah,
no baseline anyways.
there's a lot of ways to say I'm sorry without saying the word sorry.
Right. But I just won't let my kids believe that they're a sorry person because that could really mess with somebody. So I don't say I'm sorry. I do not regret. I apologize. And I made a decision and I'm going to be loyal to the decision and live and die by
There you go.
it.
Yeah. Two things. One, I want to go back to the main question about the ego, and I want to throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
So I understand how you explain everything, that we do need to stroke that from time to time, and vice versa. So my curveball question to you, and it's not to trip you up.
No, you're
So,
fine.
so in the ordained order, God, man, wife, kids, everything else.
Mhm.
Should we as men ask or expect that ego to be stroked from our wives if we shouldn't be expecting anything from them anyway, because we should be looking towards the person above us for that?
Yes. And the reason why I say because I'm not God, I'm a human being. And me as a human being, I have expectations just as much as my wife should have the expectations of how I should treat her and she should have a standard. Um, it could get tiring, the women I've been with before, and there's no shade on them because I did love them at that point in my life of what I thought love was.
Mm-hmm.
But it also could be tiring where you're doing these things for somebody you're into and there's no appreciation. You know what I'm saying? There's no appreciation. So then I stop. But if you just say the one thing, thank you, or stroke my ego and make me feel good, first of all, it's hard being a man, period, just as much as it's hard being a woman. But to hear that confirmation from the woman that you love, it just means the world. I'm not God, nor would I act like I'm God. But as a human being, yes. And I stand on that. I would love for my wife to stroke my ego every now and then. Not all the time, because then it becomes I become mute to it. I become numb to it. But every now and then, like I get dressed up and I gotta put on some clothes, go meet some folks. I come home and I'll be like, hey, and she'd be like, her thing is she'd do this. She'd be like, call me. That's when I know I'm killing the game today. And that little right there, call me, means the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Just little, oh, I could call you today. Okay, I'm in. I'm in because all I needed. Either I closed the deal, I didn't, but my queen said, call me. So I'm gonna call her, So yes, as a human being, yes, I'm not God. I know where my order and where my blessings come from. I made it this far to 40 by trial and error, grace and mercy. That's what I tell anybody. Trial and error, grace and mercy. That's how I made it this far. I know a little bit about a lot. So I don't know everything. I know a little bit about a lot. And I know that I need that confirmation from the woman that means the world to me. I don't know if I answered the question, but those are my true feelings.
No. There's no right or wrong answer, brother. You answered the way you should answer.
All right.
The second part that I wanted to follow up on was your love language scenario that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that your love language for her is you buying stuff for her,
Mm-hmm.
but her love language is actually acts of service. Like she likes
Yep.
it whenever you do stuff for her, I guess you can say. Like,
Without asking, without her
without
asking.
asking. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your love language was my follow-up question to that. Not yours for her, but yours. Like what can she do for you? What is your love language?
It's because we go to counseling. Counseling is a good thing. People go to counseling when it's bad. We go to counseling when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like people go to counseling to get a discount on their wedding certificate. We still go see the same counselor. His name is Cal. and we can go to Cal by ourselves. We go together. So that's how we learn our love language. Counseling is good to do. You got to have somebody that's going to hold you accountable and it's going to call you out on your crap. And the reason why I brought that up, because he taught us our love language. My love language is touch. I just want her to touch me. Like it calms me down. It lets me know everything's going to be okay. And it's literally, and it's funny, we say love language, but she's not saying anything, but she's saying a lot to me. Yeah. The way she touched my hand when we're driving, the way when we're just laying in the bed and she wraps her legs around my legs. I know, like, those are my legs. I'm going to protect them legs. Like, I love them legs. But my love language is touch. Like, long as she touched me, and she don't have to smother me, but she just touched me. That says a lot to me. And it makes me happy because I know she ain't touching nobody else. And she's talking to me how I need to be talked to. And she knows that. And I think she's very conscious of that.
Right. That's good. And for me also, one of mine is touch as well. Mm-hmm. We did go to counseling, and that's how we found out about the five love mm-hmm. languages as well. And mine is touch. I always tell people that you can say so much through a hug without saying a word.
Facts.
It's so much that can be said because it's an all-purpose type of embrace, and it says so much depending on the need that you need it for.
True, I agree.
Yeah, so that's good. So those were the first two questions, and you know what I'm saying, you're knocking them out one by one. The third question is, do you think your spouse should be your peace? And what I mean by that also is, like you said, you have a hard day at work. You go away from the house. Whatever happens to you throughout that day, good or bad, when you come home, should your wife be your peace? And I can answer the question first before you go. I said this last time. For me, the answer is yes. So whatever happens to me outside of this house, when I come home, I do expect my wife to be my peace. I don't want to think about what happened to me throughout the entire day. I want to come home and it's just be me and you. So that way my peace, meaning I forget everything else. And now that I'm in this house, it's all about me and you and the family that we got, you know what I'm saying, that we're building together. That's what I mean. That's for me, that's what it means.
Okay. Okay. So my answer is, can I do a 50-50?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my first initial answer was no, just to be honest, because I find peace in God.
There you go.
Like literally, that's my peace. Because everything I have, I know it came from the All High God, and that has many different names. But it was just one of those where I looked at it, I said, my peace is in God. Long as I know I'm in my right mind. I wanted people before my feet touch the ground. I thank God 3 times with my eyes closed in the spirit and 3 times with my eyes open on this earth and this realm before I touch the ground. Because then when I touch the ground, that's 7, which is completion. But 6 is the number of man. So I do that every day, been doing it for years. And that's my peace. In the physical realm, my wife should be able to look at me and have a whole conversation. We said nothing. That's where I find peace at in the physical realm. And spiritual, my peace is God. I just look to the hills. I call it walking on water. Like I have no safety net. I know everything comes from all high and down. Now I just need to be a servant, a filter to show people prayerfully in a good way how good God is. But in the physical, yes, that's why I said it's 50-50. In physical, yes. When I come home, and I said it earlier, I just want to be me. I do not want to try to sell anything. I do not want to shoot the breeze. I just want to just be here and just be here. I want to play with my kids. We got this new thing. We play Monopoly, the card game Monopoly. It's pretty dope. Like even the 7-year-old is serving us up. Like she's strong. And I just want to be a dad. I've always, some guys say, oh, I never thought about getting married. In the back of my mind, see, in my family, all the men, we're all married. So that's my blueprint. some people shouldn't be married no more, but they still married. Like we don't believe in divorce. Like since a kid, my aunts and uncles are same aunts and uncles that's still around. They've been married 30, 40 years. So that's all I know. When you get your one, your piece, you hold on to it for dear life because they know you. My
Right.
wife does this to me, man, and I'm like, I told her the other day, I said, I would never, never say never, but I don't smoke, I don't drink. So I'm one of the people that can say never. She could look at me and say, go use the bathroom. I was like, what in the world? I ain't even, and this may be something crazy. Some people, I'm like, I didn't, like, I gotta use the bathroom, but how did you? She said, she just looked. I'm like, I really gotta pee really bad, but I'm gonna go use the bathroom. But we are so in tune with each other.
That's
And
good.
and literally, she was like, go use the bathroom. I'm like, damn, how did she right though? I gotta go use the bathroom. And I got blessed, bro. I may have thought others would have been the Miss Smith, but God blessed me with this lady, and she took me to another level. Like literally, is she my piece in this realm? Yes, but before her, I will look towards the skies for my peace, and that's
Mhm.
my answer to that.
No, no, hey, brother, that your answer, like I said, there's no right or wrong answers to anything. That's your answer. So
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that you said that, you know what I'm saying, it made me reflect back on me and be like, oh yeah, you're right. I should be, my piece does come from there as well, but that's not what I
Yeah,
said.
right. But no, I enjoy being married. Some guys they wanna stay out, do this, do that, and I love going home. My house is fun. My kids are dope. My wife is dope. I don't need it. I've done the streets in my 20s. I tell
Mhm.
people, your 20s, you should be selfish. You should kick it. Go see the world. Late 20s, early 30s, sit down because it's just time. Sit down. You ain't missing nothing. But your early 20s, late teens, go see the world. Make as many mistakes as you want. Preferably don't have no kids, but if you do, take care of them. But go, just go. But when it's time, I used to ask my grandmother, and my grandma, I'm like, Grandma, how you know? How you know Grandpa was your husband? She like, you just know. I'm like, Grandma, how you know? She like, you just know. I'm like, Grandma, you a liar. She's about to backhand me, but she's just like, you just know. Then when I got older and I went through my experiences, when I tell you, you just know, you literally just know. Our first date was at the Waffle House. 2 o'clock in the morning. We sat there for hours. We already ate because I went and DJ'd something, and then I called her 2 o'clock in the morning. And and I'm gonna be very straight up with you. The only thing that's open 2 o'clock in the morning is Waffle House and legs. Her legs were not open. We went to the Waffle House. So this is our first date. And we just sat there for hours. I gave her
Yeah.
a foot rub. I gave her shirt off my back because I had on this button up. She was cold. But I finally, and I used to tell women all the time, you get me physically, but you keep me mentally. And none
Right.
of them ever got it. I'm a
Yeah.
dude. I'm a dog. I'm gonna run and chase and go. But you keep me mentally. And I enjoy the conversation. I could finally talk to somebody. And and then I remember my ex found out that I was talking to somebody, and she asked me one question because she knew because we together 3.5 years, so she knew enough of me, and she said, "Are you gonna stop talking to her?" It wasn't, "Are y'all having sex? Are y'all do?" She said, "Are you gonna stop talking to her?" And I said, "No." And when she heard me say no and how I said no, she's like, "Oh, he gone. He's not coming back. No, I ain't coming back because I got my it. I got my queen. That doesn't mean that you weren't my queen. You were my queen at that time in my life, and I loved you at that time. But this is different, and I'm gonna hold on to this because this is different. I appreciate all the women from before, but this right here, this is different. I'm not letting this go.
I think all men go through that exact same experience, going through life from, chasing women and then finding the one. Like you say,
Mhm.
your first date was the Waffle House. Mine
Yeah.
actually, well, ours was Sonic,
See?
and it was you try to look for something that's different that's going to keep you that's different from all these other women, and
Mhm.
conversation is the number one thing because 9 times out of 10 women are either going to be trying to, I want to say, I'm not going to generalize, but for me, at my time in life, all women wanted was to know how much money you made, and what can you
Mm-hmm.
give me?
Mm-hmm.
I know how much money I make. I know what I can give you, but what
Mm-hmm.
are you going to give me in return? Like
All
what
right.
I needed in return was the conversation, like you just mentioned. That one
Mm-hmm.
was different. Take me out on not take me out on a date, but at least offer so I know where your head is.
Right.
Are you a giver or are you a taker? If you are a
One of the,
giver,
yeah.
then to me, you're more in tune with, you know what I'm saying, giving your, you know what I'm saying, giving your services and your time and your efforts and things like that, rather than receiving all of the time. So if you're a giver, which I recognized in my wife, she's definitely a giver. I can give you everything that you ever asked for because you're going to
Yep.
give me something that I really, really wanted, which was that conversation.
It's one of the first games we played, and I did this on purpose. We played Monopoly. I
Mhm.
wanted to play Monopoly, like old school, bring out the red, yellow, blue, green money. So I want to see how she did with money. I did this on purpose. And she is not a spender, but she was getting properties. And
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm trying to beat her. Like, I don't remember who won, but I know. And it's funny because in life, she's not a spender. She's not. She thinks she knows how to calculate. She from South Side Chicago, so she hood in her, and I love that. But she's not a spender. Play Monopoly. I try to tell guys, play Monopoly with your girl. You want to marry? Play Monopoly. You gonna really that is gonna tell you how they gonna spend their money. And they're like, yeah, right, okay. If they go fast, you know, I hope you got a second job. My wife does not care about any of that in real life. So how she played the game is how she is in real life.
Right.
She was holding on to her money until she wanted to make a move. She's holding on to her money until she made another move. Me, I'm like, I need boardwalk, I need green, I need all this.
Right.
But that's how we balance each other out. She lets me be me. And that was the other thing. Because of things I went through, bro, I told myself, because before, I'm glad God gave me time to be by myself first before I got married. I had to date myself and find out how great I was again, because you can get caught up in other people's lives and other people's happiness. And I told myself, and it was for 6 months, I said, I would go to like Chili's and stuff like that. It didn't matter. And they say, is your date coming? I'm like, no, it's just me. I was a hot date, $20 for the whole night. That's with a tip. I was, but I told myself, whoever she is that this is before I met my wife, I said, she has to understand I'm not going to change the core of me ever again for anybody, because I've done that. I was changing, trying to make sure the other person's happy, do it. But what about me? Nothing was being poured into me. And I said, I would never do that again.
Right.
So when my wife and I got together, I said, look, here's my thing. The core of me, I would not change. But if you're worth me compromising some things for, I would compromise some things, but you got to be worth it. But I'm not going to change the core of me for anybody ever again. And she understood that. She was like, I ain't asked you to be nobody but yourself. In fact, I don't even really know you. And it's funny, we knew all the same people, but we didn't know each other. So I was like, you don't know me? You know, pride, shock. You don't know who I am? Everybody know me. She's like, I don't know you. And then in the back of my mind, I said, thank you. I get a clean slate with this one. and and the rest is history, because I actually fell in love with her soul before we even said our first word, because men that have been out in them streets, we know a good woman. Like, we treat them like them,
Yeah.
and the queens like the queens, just being honest with you. And I had a precursor before my wife many years ago, and that woman helped me step my game up. I'm like, okay, this a woman, right? Ain't no little girl, this a woman. But I'm thankful for that season, because when that was over, it opened my eyes to what I deserve and how I know I should be treated. And then when my wife gave me a chance, when I stepped to her, I told her like this: I want to DJ on her line sister's wedding. And it's funny how God works. We wind up, she didn't have no way to get back to her car. And I was like, I got a car. I can take it to your car. And but I told her, I had it in my mind because I knew she's gonna be there. I said, I do not want to date you. I want to court you. I got a plan for us, and you got a decision to make. And she told me, her story is, I was gonna write on the window, help me, this food crazy. But I did my research, and I knew she was with another guy for a while, and it didn't work out. And I think that I assumed that she was tired of the games. So I had one shot and one shot only, and I need to tell her off top, I don't want to date you. This is gonna go somewhere. I was stuttering like, hey, hope she's here. Let me shoot my shot. I want to court you, which is a big difference. Dating, I don't have time to play games with you. I could date you and somebody else. No, I want to court you, which means that there's a plan at the end of this. If you just give me a shot. 9 years later, 2 kids. We dated for 10, been married 9, well, it'll be 9, June 29th this year. Got a 10 and 7-year-old. That's my best friend. Because she let me court her. She didn't have to. She let me court her. She could have said no. So I ain't trying to go off the rail, but that's our story.
No, you're not going off the rails, and I definitely appreciate you for, what I'm saying, being open with everything that you're mentioning. It goes back to another thing that you had mentioned, what you just said at the end of this one, which is about choices. Like we all have choices to make, both men and women. Like we choose to do certain things, even though we don't have to. Like you was mentioning with her cooking and you cleaning up and your kids saying thank you before
Mm-hmm.
y'all even eat. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't have to cook. You didn't have to go
Right.
to work today. You didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
come home, but you
Mm-hmm.
chose to because this is the decision that you made to be loyal to this household that you have
Mm-hmm.
now created. So you are going to step up and do everything that you can do to make sure it is protected.
It's I love when my wife said, she be around the girls or she be hearing coworkers talk, my husband don't help me with the kid. She come home, she tell me, she like, I ain't gotta deal with that. Shit, I don't have to deal with that at all. Her thinking is we had these kids. So a lot of times we got to divide and conquer to make sure Saturday is good. Because being a parent, I'm a dance dad, soccer,
Yeah.
and you don't want one kid to be left out. So you gotta. It's like you playing a game. Excuse my clock.
Yeah.
It's a
That's right.
clock,
That's right.
but it's to hear her say, I don't have to deal with that. That warms my heart because she knows what she got, just like I know what I had. She don't have to deal with that foolishness. I'm loyal to you. Period. You ain't gotta want underneath anything. But here's the flip side, because it is the flip side. Before we got married, I had to tell her, I was like, look, only 3 ways this ain't gonna work. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, if you hit me and I can't hit you back, because I don't believe men should hit women. I don't think no real man. I don't think a man should ever put his hands on a woman. Period. Even though in my past, to be honest, I did one time. I smacked a female, just to be honest, and it was wrong. There's no kudos to that.
Mhm.
But she destroyed all my stuff, and I just blanked out. I was like, oh my god, but that was wrong. But I don't. If she ever hit me and I can't hit her back, I'll just like that ain't gonna work because I can't hit you back. If you ever cheat on me, I don't care what you've done in your past. But whatever you do from here on out is going to be with me and me only. I don't care what you've done because if you do that, I feel violated and I'm never going to want to touch you again except for selfish reasons. And if you're my wife, I shouldn't feel like that with my wife. Girlfriend, I don't care. Wife, you never made it to the pedestal. We can't play that game. And the other one, if you wake up every day and you clock in and you want to be a straight jerk to me and I've done nothing to you, I got one life to live. I will enjoy this blessing of a life with or without you. Because I've seen marriages where she just be, and I'm like, dude, you got one life. You here on borrowed time. You need to enjoy yourself while you're here. I wouldn't do it, but and those, I told her those are my 3 deal breakers. Other than that, we're gonna be just fine. But
Yeah.
I know I don't have that type of woman, but I just had to tell her straight up before you say I do to me, you do one of these 3, I am out. Deal breakers, and she has her deal breakers, and I gotta respect them. We know this up front. This is a marriage is a business merger, and people don't want to be honest. You're signing a contract. She's a CEO, you a CEO, and y'all decide to make a decision, business decision together, and this is your first contract together, right? So why not kind of treat it like it's a business? In a business, you have to respect your business partner. You have to make money together. You got to make money decisions together. You have to decide how this corporation is going to go, which is meaning how we decide how we're going to raise these kids together. We can't be on
Right.
2 different pages. These kids
Right.
going to be confused. We have to be united front. It's a business merger, but people don't want to call it. They don't say we got married. No, it's a merger. Yeah, 2 CEOs came together and merged together
Two
and came
separate
up.
people who had a happy life merged together. It is.
Yeah, That's a crazy way to look at it, but it's being honest. It's a business. If it's not a business merger, why are we signing wedding contracts? I'll wait. Why are we signing contracts? How about we just be together forever?
Right.
No, we sign a contract. So I'm going to honor my contract with you. And I expect you to honor your contract with me.
Simple. Sounds simple to me.
But nobody wants to call it that. They be like, oh, you just in it for the money. No, we didn't have no money. So, and it can't be in it for the money because we didn't have none. We grew this together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a merger. So we take that away.
Yeah. I like. I'm writing that down as a topic, a discussion right there. Merger.
What is it?
Yeah, business merger.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like that. No, I definitely appreciate the conversation. You answered all three of the questions. No feedback from me from that. Well, I mean, I think we've outlined everything pretty well. What I want to do now is basically just open up for open discussion. Like if there's anything else that you want to elaborate on or bring up another topic or ask a question yourself, I want to leave some time available for that.
Well, talking to another married king from king to king, how did you know your wife was it? What was that? What was the it?
So the it for me was basically going back to the conversation that we had, a little while ago, was she didn't want anything from me. Like dating through my teens, 20s, and even 30s, because I didn't get married to 34.
Me too, 33.
So dating women all throughout that time, they always wanted something. It might not have been money. It may have been time. It may have been whatever it was. They always wanted something, regardless of what it was. So, but whenever I met her, she didn't want anything from me. She just wanted conversation, and just as much as I wanted conversation. So, that was I think the second time we actually went out on a date. She actually tried to pay, and to me that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe we need to start dating some more in my mind so I can see how this actually goes. And then time and time went on, and I was just like, yeah, this is the one. Actually, I was seeing somebody before I met her, and she was seeing somebody. Like we were both in two different committed relationships before we met each other. But then when we met each other, it was kind of like a click, I guess you could say. Like the light bulb went off, and both of us like, we need to leave these other two people alone, and we just need to be together. We actually had went to it was a comedy show. I can't remember who came to Nashville, and she told me she was going, and she went with the dude that she was with, but I didn't tell her I was going. I just was there with the girl that I was with, and then I went to she saw me. Let's say how God works, man. She was sitting a couple of rows ahead above me where I was sitting at, so she could see me and the date that I was with. So then when I got up to go use the restroom, I come out of the bathroom and boom, there she is. And she was like, so what you doing here? I was like, I'm enjoying the comedy show like you enjoying the comedy show. That night when we both went home, like that night, I actually dropped off my date and told her that it was over with. Before we even had a conversation, before me and Lashane, my wife now, even had a conversation. I told the other girl, I basically said we done, basically. And then when we had our conversation later on that night, we just made it official. Like from there on out, like I'm done talking to mine, you done talking to yours, and we together.
Yeah, that's dope. Because I like to hear the before, the now, and the after. And the reason why I ask that is because do you still get those same butterflies that you had then? Now, like how do you keep that going in your relationship?
How do you keep it going? That's a good question. We don't do the dating as often as we would like to, I would guess you could say, because we're very busy, but we do make time for each other. But it's a little bit different because of our lives have changed from then to now. So we do date nights. We do that. We do communicate a whole lot more than what we did back then because, again, as you get older, your wants and needs change. So you have to
True.
continuously keep a communication of that.
Hmm.
What I like then, I may not like now, or I
Hmm.
still may like what I used to like, and you may think that it's changed, but no, I still like what I like.
Hmm.
Give me what I like.
Right.
Um, but I can't say one particular thing that we do that, what I'm saying, this keeps me interested. For me, I'm a man.
Hmm.
Whenever I see my wife dressed up, that's it for me.
Hmm.
Or if I, what I'm saying, she get out the shower, of course, what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
does it for me. Like she don't have to do anything, and my mind is already there.
Yeah. You're a man.
Yeah.
Look, it's for me, it's I just my wife is absolutely gorgeous to me. Not just on looks, her brain, she challenges me. She she's funny. She's really funny. And we have like a hidden language. But one of the things I love about it, we have a deal. Once a year, we have a trip with just mom and dad. Team, no kids. Once a year. And that thing is no matter where we go, we went to Dominican Republic right before COVID hit. And I surprised her where, usually you go somewhere there and you get on a shuttle bus and go over to the resort. Nope, I didn't pay for us to have a Benz pull up. And she's like, what is this? I said, no, this is how mommy and daddy go. When we got kids, we get on that shuttle. That's what they get. We get on that shuttle. But it's one of those where this is my time to impress you because you're worth it. And then because I do this, then I get a couple treats at night. Just,
Mhm.
because I'm a dog. You got to give this dog some treats. But I make it worth it. It's not, okay, I'm going to give him this because I'm going to do it constantly. You got to be
Right.
consistent about it. It ain't just because I want this. I'm going to be like this on Monday. I'm going to be like this on Friday. I'm going to be like this next month. And when I ask questions about other married men, one of the things is even when you are not feeling each other, like y'all going at it, you still got to be the man. You still got to take out the garbage. You still got to fill up her gas. That's one of the things. I don't know why I listened and I did it, because it's never going to be peaches and cream every day. That impossible. But I still would do the things that you've always seen me do. My wife will not take out no garbage. I don't want my wife smelling like garbage. It's a crazy way of thinking about it. I take out the garbage. My son is 10. He'll be 11 Friday. Eventually, his job is going to be taking out the garbage. I'm going to retire from taking out the garbage. But it's just certain things. I'm not saying you're a woman, you have to do that. That's so old mind thinking. But it's just, you play your part. I'm going to play my part. I'm going to meet you in the middle.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that simple.
Yeah. We don't have traditional old school roles either. We don't. I think the old school traditional roles that I guess like you said, like is taking out the trash. Like I take out the trash unless I'm on I'm out for
Right.
business.
Right. That's a
You know.
given. But when you
Yeah.
there, you doing it.
Yeah.
You
Then
ain't
it's
gotta
me.
ask you to be a man, take out the
I make
garbage.
sure that the grass and the lawn and everything's taken care of. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
anything else around the house goes down or bad, you know what I'm saying? That's all me. That's me.
And she
Those are
don't have
my
to ask you. You just gonna do it.
yeah.
Because why do I have to ask you to be a man just as much I don't have to ask you to be a woman? Just don't play the game. Let's just do this.
Just
We're
do
not
it.
gonna have petty arguments. Let's or heated debates. Let's just do it and move on. Like, I don't have being a melanin tone in this world anyways is a struggle. We're not gonna struggle in this house.
Yes. And that
That's
goes
what we're
back
not.
to the whole peace thing that I was asking about with the second question. You know what I'm saying? Like I agree 100%. There's so much stuff going on outside of this world. The devil is already trying to break up the household anyway. So why do I have to come home, or why should I come home and fight you when I'm already being, you know what I'm saying, I'm fighting out there.
Right. I'm not going to.
I'm
I
not
think
going to.
sometimes it drives my wife crazy. She just be like, "Why are you so laid back?" So I really don't care. Let me tell you something. I've been through enough. I've seen enough. I've done enough. Long as I know my God, I without a shadow of doubt know you love me. I know these kids love me, and I can provide for y'all. I may get heated every now and then about what's going on, and I need to vent. But once I vent, I am done. Let's go. What we got? I snap out. Okay, what we got going on? But I gotta release it
Mhm.
to you. You the wife, so you gotta take it. And when you have those days, I'm gonna sit back and I'm like, hey, so what happened? I gotta be your biggest cheerleader without the skirt. I gotta be like, hey, what's going on? And checking in on your story. You was actually listening? Yeah, I was listening. I'm in tune with you. Cause these cookie points, I'm cashing in. But you know, it's just fun. It's just fun because a lot of times they don't think we listen anyways. But when you tell them back what it's like, oh, he was, yeah, I was listening.
Yeah.
But it's just literally marriage is fun when you marry the right one. And I tell everybody, take your time. Don't be rushing down that altar. You're gonna be just fine. As long as you are centered with your God and you do have your peace with God, this is supposed to be a addition. Assets, liability. I don't need my wife to be a liability. Not at all. We have plans. When we got our first house, we had a 3-year plan to build a home. I said house and home on purpose because that was a house. That wasn't our home. That wasn't our final destination. Now we have our home. And prayerfully, we'd be blessed enough to see our grandkids and great grands come to this home.
Right.
But that's our plan. That was the Smith plan. And when you're on one accord, no matter, because you could still be independent in a marriage. And a lot of people forget that. Oh, we married, so we got to do everything together. No, you don't. How about when you go out with the girls, I'm not going to call you. She'll send me a text. You think about me? Yeah, but go have fun.
Yeah.
I want you to be lit. So when you come back, I can have fun with you. Like literally, this is how we talk. Well, at least that's how I talk. But it's just one of those where I don't have to stalk my wife because then as a man, we gotta have enough confidence. You the fool if you mess this up. No woman, and I've been a man my whole life, but I think women want a nice guy, but she don't want no sucker. She don't want no punk. She wants somebody she know that's gonna protect her. So I don't never have to call my wife out her name or put my hands on her because we ain't doing that around here. But she knows she married a man. You know what I'm saying? She ain't married no sissy. She ain't married no pushover. She married a man. And I know I married a strong woman. I don't want no pushover. What that ain't challenging. I dated the pushovers, and that's no slight. If somebody's watched this from my past, it's no slight. That's what I had it. But I married my queen, who I'm supposed to be with. So
No.
I don't know.
Oh, real talk. No, I definitely appreciate all of your wisdom there, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So you got any other things you want to bring up or any other questions?
Uh, I just tell people just enjoy yourself. And
Enjoy yourself.
you got one life to live. It becomes so much better when you live with your best friend. You have your childhood best friend. It could be a female, like as two men. You have your childhood best friend. You may have your high school best friend, but your wife is your best friend on a different level. And me personally, I had to learn that because my high school best friend, somebody I've been knowing since I'm 14. We never done anything, like never. But it was like I had to make a conscious decision, like that's my past best friend. This is my wife, and nobody comes before her. So being 100, I had to learn that. And my wife said, "If this is, I understand that's your best friend, but if you want to still act as if y'all are kids, then you go be a kid." She shot it to me straight. I was like, oh, and I had to think about that. Even though, in my mind, I'm like, been around since I was 14. But I had to slow down and understand where she was coming from. She's like, do you want me hanging out with my childhood best friend?
Right.
And me being a jealous man, nope.
Right.
But so I had to step out of myself and see where she was coming from. And my best friend, we may talk every now and then, check in each other, say hi, but we can't talk like how we used to. I'm married now. So you got marriage is the 24/7, 365. Enjoy it. Don't make it hard. Marriage is fun when you marry the right one. That's my slogan.
Yeah. I think that one of the things, going back to what you just mentioned about being independent in a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that my father had told me was uh, make yourself happy. So you were happy before you got married. You should
Mm-hmm.
stay happy while you're married. And you know what I'm
True.
saying? Your wife and your kids and everything else is like icing on the cake.
Yep.
So definitely I agree with that statement. Like you can be happy independently and together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I have to tell them everything. Like I'm doing this, I'm checking in. Why? She know you coming home. Like, what are we doing? You with the fellas? You told it's not like, oh, I told her I'm with the fellas. No, come on, man, we ain't doing that. But if I tell my wife I'm kicking with the bros, and she be like, bye. She be trying to kick me out the house. She like, go. And then I know to come home at a decent time because I'm not gonna be disrespectful to my queen. I ain't coming in 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm married. What am I doing? I ain't doing that.
Hey, I can't. Hey, I can't agree with you on that one myself. There's been plenty of times when they came home
But
2:30.
but here's the thing: she wouldn't even care because she know I'm not here doing nothing. I
Right.
just like to go home. I don't smoke. I don't drink. It was fun. What's up, bros? Hey, dap it up. I want to go home. It's a nice warm body in my bed, and I love that body, and I want to go cuddle. So I'm out. Holla at y'all. Ain't nothing I can do with y'all. I'm going home, and that's just my mindset.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I think that going out and if the down times I was coming in that late, it wasn't me doing anything. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It was just me having and enjoying the conversation with the people that I was with,
right,
guys, men, because that's all. You know what I'm saying? I'm hanging around. It's just men. So the conversation is just always just that good because kicking it with the bros is, what I'm saying, kicking it with the bros. We just
right.
have conversation and talk and bounce ideas off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming home is a plus. She knows I'm coming home. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
staying out. I'm, like you said, I'm a married man. I am not spending the night over nobody's house
Nope.
unless I am. If I'm dog drunk, you
She'll come
call
get me.
her to come pick me up.
She'll come get you.
That's right.
Period.
That's
You
it.
grab baby girl, be like, gotta go get daddy.
That's right. Luckily, that has never happened, and it would never will. But
When well, I think about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I was with the brothers in Charlotte. And when I got home, my wife was like, how was it? I said, it's been a while, but it felt good. Just hanging with positive men, kings that's about their business, and we hung out. It was awesome. And I was like, I can't wait to do it again. Because you get so caught up in the mode, being a husband, being a dad, making the money, bringing it home, da 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 da. But then to break out, just like, whoa, I'm still cool. I know I'm dad. Like my kids, they be like, "Oh, you just dad." I'm like, I got VHS of my block parties to show I was that dude in college. They just like, you just dad. I'm like, I was that guy. You just dad now. That's my new season. You just dad. You ain't cool. You dad. And my wife was like, I didn't know you. I've heard about you. I didn't know you. So I don't really care. You want to know about my past? No, I don't want to know about your past. Just know that these bills are getting paid and I'm all you got. You are right. You are all I have. So that's why I'm at on it.
Well, Kimeo, I definitely appreciate you for coming on and having a conversation with me today. Um, Before we drop out, do you want to give any website information, or if you're on any social media, or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything about your business that you want to promote?
Well, I've been doing insurance for 12 years. I absolutely love what I do. I do not do it for the money. I've been blessed to, I call it mentally retire because I found my it. I literally educate. I don't sell. I don't sell nothing. I just tell you everything I know. You go to Kimeo Smith and KimeoSmithAgency.com. That's KIMEO agency.com. You can see reviews. You can see it all. I do auto, home, business, life insurance, which is what I truly love for generational wealth, bonds, workers' comp. I do it all. But I literally just tell you what I know so you make a real decision. My son plays soccer. My daughter, she danced. She's been dancing since she was 2. My wife and I have been together for been together 10 years, be married 9 years this June. I just truly am just hanging out, enjoying this thing called life until I get called home, which is what I call heaven. We're going back home to the maker. But that's just me. I'm here and I'm blessed to be here. And I love to talk to anybody about anything. And I love to learn and listen as well. That's just Kimeo Smith.
I definitely appreciate you, Brother Kimeo. And again, the purpose of these conversations is to hopefully give insight to what marriage is for the, what I'm saying, people who are thinking about marriage or people who are in marriages right now, or even just to remind people who may be married, who may be thinking about, separation or divorce, remind them why they got married, which goes back to the decision of why you chose the one that you're with in the first place.
Being loyal to the decision.
Loyal to the decision, man.
I like that.
Yeah. But no, I definitely appreciate you for coming on. Pray, provide, protect. Those are the key takeaways that I have from you from this episode here. Definitely hope to have you again some other time, maybe on a different platform, maybe some different questions or something like that. But I definitely appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you. You have a blessed one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is Men in Marriage, episode number 2.